I want to be able to give back and make a difference in the world and have purpose and meaning in life. And so know your why, know your mission. As I mentioned, volunteer for a charity or get on a board if you can, because you really need to understand it. Now, if you've been on a corporate board, it's very similar, so that's okay. But if you haven't been on a board before, or especially if you're going to run your own, you have to run that board. So if you're starting this charity, you have to have board members, and then to do that is you've got to find great board members, and you really have to sit down and think about, all right, what are your talents? What are you good at? What are you not good at? And where do you need help? And then think about, all right, who in my network, or what type of people would I want on my board that can fill those gaps so that you're not doing everything. You really want to bring in people. Let's say, for example, I'm not a marketer. I was a merchant. I was on the finance side. Marketing was not my core. So I made sure that I had board members that are in marketing. I made sure I had board members that were CFOs, that were in finance, to be able to run the finance part of it. So you really have to surround yourself with people smarter than you in areas that you're not expected to know everything. That's why you have a board, and that's what a board is for.
And that was a
And
that
then
was a fantastic take of being able to find the board members that can fit your gaps. Because a lot of times I think we look for those that can also kind of help us maybe elevate our own strengths. If I'm a good marketer, or if I'm good in sales, maybe I need somebody that can help elevate that part, as opposed to
exactly.
looking for the gaps and build. So that was really nice.
Within the board members, it's important also to make sure they have the same why as you. They have the same purpose, that the whatever you decide your mission is, that they support that mission and really have a desire to be involved in that. And it's really important to make sure they have the talents that you need. The other thing that I think is really important is there's so many, back when I first started, because you have to get approved from the IRS to have a 501(c)(3). So not only do you have to have your board already picked, you have to have your mission, your why. You need to do your research on the same type of charity. So for me, when I started doing my research on what we're doing, there was nothing out there like us. So I had to go to the next best thing, which is thrift stores. Thrift stores there are some thrift stores that are charitable, where all of the profits go back to charity. They're selling used goods. Sometimes they get new goods, but for us, that was the only way or example we could give to IRS that there was something out there to follow, although ours is new inventory. And then secondly, so I did a lot of research on thrift stores and things like that. And you can go into an organization like Charity Navigator, and you can actually pull up what's called their 990, which is just like your IRS tax form.
Okay.
You can see what they're spending their money, how much money they're raising, whether their board members are being paid, how much their board members or their employees are being paid. All of that is public data. So it's good to research charities that are similar to what you'd like to do. Everything is there that you need on Charity Navigator. And then secondly, use a reputable firm to help you build your 501(c)(3), to the report that you have to give to the IRS. Don't do it yourself, because the IRS will know that you don't know what you're doing, because there's so many questions and things that I never would have been able to do it myself. But there are reputable companies out there for $500 to $1,000. They'll do it for you, get all the paperwork that you need, and get you set up and with everything you need for the board or for the IRS to say yes. And sometimes it can take up to a year to get their approval. But if you use a good company, like I got mine within 3 months.
Wow.
So you just make sure you spend your money wisely on the right type of company. That's all they do is help people get their 501(c)(3) status.
So find somebody that can really focus in on that when it comes to getting all the paperwork and all the legality set. Okay.
Exactly. And there are companies out there, I recommend a bigger company that's what they do, but find the
Yeah.
one that's a great price. Um, and do your homework. It's worth it because you don't want to then submit your 501(c)(3), and then you might waste 7 months waiting to get it approved
Yeah.
when you might have used the wrong company. So just, make sure that you're using the right company.
Yeah, that's great feedback because I think that, like you said, that's something that people that haven't maybe gone through that stumbling block and had to wait the 7 months, they just wouldn't know. You would just think that that's kind of
Exactly.
business as usual, and that you're doing the kind of going down the right path. Um,
Yeah, and you start with those companies in the beginning when you're first thinking about it. Start the conversation with them because they will help you
mm,
with all of the things that you need, so that as you're building it, you're not having to do it alone.
Freedom, freedom, freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.